Michelle Davis and I were in the back seat of your car, and all of a sudden you hit the brakes and there was this horrific thunk. And Michelle and I in the back seat actually thought we had killed someone, run over something. And you did this a few times until we finally realized it was all staged. Oh. And you delighted in always hitting the brakes, and you were slamming your hand against the driver's door.
When I get really good at that,
yeah.
I pull up to cars at stoplights and I get as super close as I can, hit the brakes and thunk, and they all wonder why I'm not getting out of the car and why this person isn't angry at me.
So that was an indicator to me of the kind of individual that you are. So
and what kind is that?
The best. What can I say?
How did you become the principal of John Knox Christian School?
Through university, my interest was medicine. I worked in an emergency room, and then I was intending to go to med school, and I realized in the emergency room that I did not want to have that kind of lifestyle that compromised family and available time. So I went back to Calvin and got my teaching certificate, and from there I got this master's graduate assistantship where they paid me to go to school, and that sort of anchored me into the teaching track. So after 10 years there, I put resumes out, and I got accepted at Vancouver Christian School, so I ended up teaching with a small administrative roles. And then I was asked to, as well, parallel to that, add a grade 9 and 10 to Vancouver Christian School. So then it was like the excitement of building a school forward. Then I was given the opportunity to be the vice principal there, then the principal of this new school called Carver. I started here. I was hired to become the lead principal at John Knox 2 years ago when Anne retired. And that added on a dimension that I've treasured deeply over the past 2 years. But the idea of having an elementary school means you can go and hang out with these Oompa Loompas. And literally these little kids, 100 times a day you'll hear, "Hi, Mr. Tigchelaar," when you're going through the halls, and it's just delightful. And then I get to go back and forth between the elementary school and that sort of youthful innocence to the growing adults and maturation of the high school students. So the benefit of the two in the context of each other makes for a complete experience for me.
Next question, have you ever operated a chainsaw while in the water?
You've been prepped.
No.
I certainly have. So I went with Adam Wasik, the principal of the high school.
Yes.
A few months ago, up to the Nation Lakes, which is way up north. And we did a 5-day linear tour through a string of lakes. And the first few lakes were connected by rivers, small rivers, probably as wide as this room. And every once in a while on a corner, there'd be a jam of hundreds of logs. And so sometimes it was easier to chainsaw your way through some selected spots rather than portage around it. So I got into the river up to my chest, and I was chainsawing quite a bit to clear pathways for the kayaks.
And you were successful in getting through.
I was successful. I'm still alive.
Yes. Yeah.
No chainsaw cuts.
Yeah.
What's one thing that you wish continues on after you leave?
The one thing that I hope would continue on after I leave, and I hope is something that could change to the better in any system, would be what we call a shared leadership, distributed leadership. So that is, I am not the boss. I am a partner with the admin team and the teaching staff in building this community. And so my job is not to try to do your job. My job is to back away and let you do your job because you're a professional, you're creative, and you're competent, and that's why you were hired. It's about letting go too, so I can let go and be who I need to be, and I don't have to be a part of who you should be.
What's your secret to a really mean pot of soup?
Not following a recipe.
Okay, that works. Absolutely.
Yeah, I have basic recipes, but I do the West African groundnut stew, which I love.
I think that's probably a fan favorite.
Why do you make soup for your staff, philosophically speaking?
There's such a bonding experience around food. It's been a gift of life. I love to cook, so I really enjoy making different kinds of soup. There's so much bonding and community and culture that weaves itself through the idea of sitting down and dining together.
So I'm going to give you this and ask you if
To
you
share
would,
it.
if you would share this and turn it into a prayer for us.
Right, now?
Yeah.
As in now. Oh, good idea. You are all known, you are all named, and I pray that you are all unafraid. And it's based on Isaiah 43, verse 1. But now thus saith the Lord, He who created you, O Jacob, He who formed you, O Israel, do not fear, for I have redeemed you, I have called you by name. You are mine. Being unafraid is an odd vocation. What the Spirit does is visit our lives, our persons, our bodies, our imagination, our money, with the freedom of God, so that we are unafraid in the world, able to live differently, not needing to control, not needing to dominate, not needing to accumulate, not driven by anxiety. The unafraid are open to the neighbor, while the frightened are defending themselves from the neighbor. The unafraid are generous in the community, while the frightened, in their anxiety, must keep and store and accumulate to make themselves safe. The unafraid are committed to justice for the weak and the poor, while the frightened see them only as threats. The unafraid pray in the morning, care through the day, and rejoice at night in thanks and praise, while the frightened are endlessly restless and dissatisfied. So, dear people, each of you, staff of John Knox Christian School, students of John Knox Christian School, and parents, do not fear. I have called you by name. You are mine. Amen.